Hey there everyone, he's here. Another beautiful day. Yeah, today we get a rare opportunity to take the bike to work. I got some training today, so I don't need to haul a whole bunch of stuff. So we're good to go. Yeah, it's been a while. Again, the opportunities are just, man, they're so rare. So every chance I get, from the weather permitting, I'm gonna take the bike out and put some miles on it. It was crazy because the other day there were 2 bike accidents, and one was caught on film and they posted it on Facebook. It's crazy. This one car, kind of like this, just sideswiped the bike and he went down. Luckily he was okay, he wasn't going that fast. Probably got some road rash and some bruises, but he was all good in the video. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just super important to just keep your head on a swivel out here. I don't really like cars next to me. So, you know, what I'll do is I'll try and find an opening, get away from them, especially cars on the right and the left of me. One thing I did before I bought a bike was I really studied the statistics, and I also studied from what other bikers had posted online and their mistakes and experiences, and I kind of, you know, I'm always looking out for that. I'm always looking out to see what the hazards are around me, and I try my best to put myself in a position to get away from those hazards as much as possible. And you know, a lot of people on bikes get hurt because they don't understand how to control the bike in tough situations, which is why speed is a killer even in cars, because it limits your time to react, you know, and it cuts down your time to I guess fix mistakes from you and from others. So for this bike in particular, when I first got it, it was geared down to man, when I test drove it, it made it over 100. And knowing that it had that capability, and knowing what I wanted to do with the bike, which was, you know, take it off-roading and whatnot, I didn't need that type of speed. So what I did was I increased the tooth count in my sprocket so that the bike had a lower top end, which decreased the top speed, and then made my first gear be able to go slower, so that when I'm in the trails, again with speed, the slower you go, the more time you have to maneuver and react to certain things. And in the trails, it's, you know, foot by foot. one hazard after the other, whether it's a root or a rock or a pothole or a ditch or whatever it is. So I kind of did this to myself because, you know, when you have it, you tend to use it. So I guess what I'm saying is if I could go 100 miles an hour, I probably would go 100 miles an hour. As the bike is set up right now, my top speed is really set to about 65 with the gears, with the sprockets that I have on it, which is plenty enough. Speed limit on the island is actually 35. So, you know, it's a good range. So I always look to the cars on the left and the right of me, and I try and look in their mirrors to see where their eyes are at. Like up here, these cones, you know, typically you're gonna have cars moving to the inner lanes to avoid traffic and whatnot. So, you know, you always want to be looking out when you make a turn. You got to actually look to where you're turning. And the one piece of advice I would give everybody is find a place where you can practice maneuvering your bike, like an open area, whether it be a field or an empty parking lot, and just practice maneuvering it, you know, slow speed maneuvers, and then increase your speed. Also find out what's going to happen to your bike when you do emergency braking. That way, if the situation ever came up, you're not surprised. You know, when I emergency brake on this bike, the tail starts sliding, and I'm not surprised because I already can anticipate it because I've already done it before through practice. But if you don't know what your bike can do, and all of a sudden you need it to do something, and you try and make it do a certain maneuver that you haven't really practiced, you're going to be super surprised, and you're not going to know how to control it. So to me, the main thing is know your equipment, know your machine. And don't get me wrong, I know plenty of guys who are out there who really know their bike and really know how to control it. And the problem is they can't control the people around them. You can't control what they do. So you always have to be a super defensive driver, especially on a bike. You always have to have this kind of sixth sense about you. Another piece of advice too is helmet. Wear a helmet. It's a huge, the stats, before I got my bike, I was reading all these stats, and the stats of fatalities with people wearing versus without wearing a helmet, it's crazy. It's like 80% survivability with head injury if you have a helmet. So not only am I using a helmet to record, but I'm also using it for safety. And I don't have a cheapo helmet, man. My helmet is pretty pricey, and you know, a lot of people, when I was looking at getting it, they were like, wow, you're gonna spend that much on a helmet? I'm like, man, how much is your head worth? You know, I've had probably 3 concussions in my life, and it's not fun. So, you know, use the proper equipment. I know I'm not always using the proper riding gear, especially now. I'm not wearing long sleeve and whatnot. But as far as my head is concerned, you know, that's irreplaceable. And then also know the road conditions. You know, if there's construction or you know there's a rough patch of road, and you know cars are going to try and avoid that rough patch or start turning and avoiding construction, you want to kind of anticipate what other cars are going to do before they do it. That's why I always, if let's say for example there's a car in the oncoming lane and he's about to turn into an intersection, I always look at their eyes. I always make sure they make eye contact with me, because another thing is they say that, oh, I never saw him. Well, I make sure that they see or hear me. I'll start revving my motor real loud so that they can, pay attention. And you never want to take it for granted that other cars know where you're at. You want to kind of always pretend that they don't know that you're there, so you're ready in case they don't, So yeah, guys, if you're thinking about getting a bike or you're on a bike right now, just be safe. Like I said, there was 2 accidents just yesterday, and it's not good news, especially for guys like me who own bikes, because you kind of have it in your head that could happen to me. And that's with anything. It could happen whether you're in a car or just walking on the street. So you always want to be extra cautious and careful and never take it for granted. Things can always happen, so just be as prepared as you can possibly be. Well, guys, that's it for me. I'm about to go hit up this training, gain some more knowledge. Thanks again for watching. Please let me know if you guys want to hear anything new or see anything that I haven't posted up, or about the island or about bikes or whatever it is, whatever I do. Just leave a comment and I'll get to it. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Peace out.